This Inside Star Citizen is titled Alpha 324 Hangars and Freight. Now, my Twitch stream is titled ISC Excuses Editions, Volume 259,821. My guess here is, what else could it be other than, hey guys, game development is hard? Because they have shared everything about Hangars and Freight already. Everything that you've seen on both ISC, everything you've heard on SCL describes exactly what we're getting, exactly what I'm experiencing in Evo. So I'm very curious what this episode's actually going to be. It almost looks like maybe an interview with Chad McKinney or something. So let's see what it is. Enough guessing, and yeah, here we go. ISC's Hangar and Freight. Maybe it's more of like a Q&A. Might be a good episode.
Alpha 324 is currently in testing, awaiting its release to hungry players like you. And while ISC is moving onward to covering the ongoing development of the upcoming Alpha 4.0 after that, we thought we'd take one last chance to check in with the cargo guru himself, Chad McKinney, and get one last look at how personal persistent hangars, freight elevators, and cargo loading is working. This is Inside Star Citizen Alpha.
It's not. That's how it's working. It's not.
324 Hangars and Freight. Let's go.
That's the whole problem, is it's not. It's what makes it funny.
The first thing, obviously, you spawn into the hub.
Okay, this is one thing I like that they're doing, though. Each ISC, they walk you through the process like a guide. I love that this is something that they're doing with ISCs. I think it's really smart. It's really good.
You can go out into the main section down at the bottom, depending on the station that you're in, meet up with your friends, make sure you're in a party together. At that point, you have lots of options available to you. You can either go to an item bank if you want to grab some smaller items, which there are numerous throughout the station, including actually in the hub that you're just in.
I've been repeating this, but I will say it again. You can interact with cargo containers in your item bank now, meaning the 1 SCU, 2 SCU, up to 8 SCU containers that you can open. And this is an old image. There is a search option on these. They don't work yet, but there is a search option in Evo. So technically, you could take a box in this inventory, move it over there, open the box over there, shoot guns into it, bring it back, and close it. So it's kind of good.
The item bank is used to allow players to get smaller items, mainly like FPS-style items, without having to go all the way down to a hangar to use the freight elevator kiosk to pull it up from the freight elevator. That's especially useful for things like handguns or undersuits and armor, metapins, food, stuff that you just want to quickly get on your person, and you don't have to wait for a huge platform to come up in order to grab it.
Yeah, but the UI makes it not as quick as the old UI that we used to have.
The inventory that the item bank accesses is the same location inventory that the freight elevator accesses. So in fact, you can do things like...
Oh yeah, there's the search bar. See?
Put something into your location inventory via the item bank, and then later on decide you want to get it back while you're in your hangar. And you can do that via the freight elevator kiosk or any of the other item banks that are in the hangars.
There you go. So just showing the progress through Evo, how the first Evo patches were missing a lot of functionality, and now there is some functionality there. So I'm glad that he showed that, because that is better. So.
And while you
open the crate in the terminal by double-clicking, no one is going to know this. Of course you can do that, but
you and your group members are certainly welcome in your new personal persistent hangar, questions still abound about what happens when an unwelcome guest sneaks in.
If someone gets in...
This is where it should start the timer, but it doesn't.
Into your hangar, there is a trespassing timer that will start ticking. After 30 seconds or so, they're going to get automatically kicked out. In addition, we have changed the rules in the hangar to make it allow the same kind of non-armistice zone behavior that the ships do. So we are modifying it to where you can shoot people that even trespass inside your hangar.
How badass is this?
And not get a infraction for it. At your home location, it will be your personal hangar, but if you go to a different place in the verse, then that hangar that was given to you is what we call a public hangar, but you're still the person that like has authority over it. So while you do, you have the same kind of rights.
Yep.
In many ways, these new...
Stand your ground. Also, see where they built this mini Benny Henge? I'm not sure what size hangar this is. I think it's like a medium. This little cubby hole exists where you can do some designing that you want. Not all these hangars have I noticed this little side cubby hole. It still has all those like, you know, where they made their own props areas.
Hangars are your first home ownership in the verse, with not only the ability to defend yourself against intruders without getting a...
Well, that sucks for pirates. Okay. Fuck pirates, bro. Like, their life has to be difficult.
crime stat, but also your first abilities to customize and decorate your space as you see fit.
I think they should be able to shoot as well, but I think that they should be like, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, a situation where you can shoot and they can is obviously not good. I see what you mean, but also pirates have had it so easy, so I don't feel bad. This is better than them just being teleported away instantly. So, regardless, like pick your poison. That's how I look at it.
The personal hangars are kind of the first real ownership in the world for the players. We've had ownership with the ships, which is great. You've been able to keep things inside them for some time now and, you know, kind of customize it that way. But this is the first kind of home, the first place in the world that actually is yours. And it's allow you to store furniture. You can store boxes, cargo, if you want to stockpile and be kind of clever with trading. Anything that, you know, any flair, anything that you want that will help make it feel like home.
Any flair is not true, but okay.
But it's not the end. We have lots of plans for the future. You know, you've seen things with all the base building updates, and also we've talked in the past about things like persistent habs, etc. So there's more that's going to be coming along this vein, but the personal habs are the first big step of ownership in the world for players.
With armistice zones now removed from hangars,
that is so insane.
Persistence allows players to now set their most used items out for easy access before any launch. You can display your firearms, ship items, and more however you'd like. And in future releases beyond Alpha 3.24, this will include display cases for armor as well.
I think we need displays for armor, for ship components, for all that stuff. Like, maybe not the word display may be incorrect, but like containers that you could snap onto cargo grid, you know, something that you attach things to. Stands, I think is probably, a good word.
Basically, mounts, almost anything in your inventory, you'll be able to pull up via either the item bank or the freight elevator, and then you can directly leave them around in your hangar. Now, you do have to be careful about, like, if you want to call up a ship, leaving things on the platform may block it, so that could cause issues. However, we did expand the size of the hangars in order to give you more space in there to do exactly this. So we want to make it both easier experience to get in and out of some of these hangars, as well as give you more space in order to decorate it and make it feel like your own place.
You think they mean a mannequin that wears armor? Yeah, for sure. I just mean we need more than just mannequins that wear armor. We need things that can hold other things.
In addition to all that, another change that we've made is we've reclassified many ships in the game that were previously attributed to small hangars, now to the medium-sized hangars, so that they are a more comfortable fit as far as landing. And then in addition to that, also to make it more reasonable for maybe the amount of cargo or the items that you're moving in.
Okay, do you see what's happening here? Do you see the missiles halfway through the ground? When you interact with that missile, it falls through the freight terminal or the freight elevator, and you'll never be able to have it. It just falls through. So you see how everything's halfway through? All of these things you cannot have. The ones that are sitting proper, you can. So wave ones, you're going to see some rough stuff. And that's why, racks of missiles would be good. Racks for weapons would be good. Racks for, what is this, like a quantum drive or a power plant would be good. So, why are the missiles on the ground? Yeah, they should be like in some sort of a rack that you move around, but I think they'll get there eventually.
The physicalizing of most items and the addition of freight elevators and new kiosks in Alpha 324 to work with them not only in your hangar but at mission locations throughout the verse means a fundamental shift in the manner and time it takes to load and offload your ship or vehicle.
For both manual and automatic loading, you're going to be doing something at the moment that's going to be some kind of commodity transfer. Whenever you go to the commodity terminal to do a transaction, you're presented with two different options. You can either deliver directly into your location inventory or pick a ship from a list that's at that location and have it automatically packed into that ship for you. If you decide to deliver it into the location inventory, you'll buy it. There's no restriction on what you buy. It'll just go directly into it. As long as you have capacity in the inventory and the money to pay for it, you can do it. At that point,
once again, max capacity of an inventory, whether it's a city, a space station, or anything, is 1,000 SCU at the time of this recording.
And it's up to you if you've bought it to get it onto your ship or to move it to wherever, or just sit on it. So you can just like hang out, wait until the prices look good, and then later on decide to move it to a different location. From there, if you decided to manually load it, you can load it onto the ship, call ATC, go to a different location in the game, land at a different location, go into the spaceport, and then access the same commodity terminal there, look at the prices, and make a determination about whether you want to sell anything on your ship. At that point, you can make what we call like a sell order. And this is basically like a declaration, kind of like a contract that says like, I will deliver these goods and you will give me this payment for it. When you've done that, at that point, you can go back to your hangar, move the goods off of the ship onto the freight elevator platform, use the freight elevator kiosk to put it down into the location inventory. You'll get a little screen that pops up that tells you, here's the sell order that you had, here's the price that we agreed to, you've now delivered everything, check, and then you get the payment that's delivered.
Where's that screen?
And the reason why we do that is actually to remove a round trip. So this gives a way for players to kind of like skip a step in the flow and help make things a little bit more smooth. On the flip side, if you just want to deliver it into your location inventory at the new location.
Guys, the steps are like super minor. Yes, it's more steps, but it's not as bad as some of you guys are making it seem.
You can do it like that as well. And then once you're inside the spaceport, sell it from the location inventory instead, or just sit on it until another point in time. On the automatic side, whenever you go to buy the goods, the ship needs to be stowed at that location. At that point, the ship will be locked down, so you can't call it to fly it off while the loading's in process. You also have to pay a little bit more in order to fund the movement by the local services in order to actually move the cargo onto your ship for you.
I don't think we've seen that payment yet.
Once the timer has run out, you go down to the ASOP terminal. You can spawn your ship or retrieve the ship from the ASOP.
The hull C is remaining the same. I'm sure he's going to touch on it.
Top terminal, get in the ship. All the boxes should be there. You can fly off to another place and then do the inverse at a different location. The other thing is that you can mix and match these. So you can decide to manually load the boxes from your location inventory onto your ship, but then automatically unload them or vice versa. It's really up to you about how you want to do it. Like maybe you decide that you don't mind unpacking it because maybe it's a little bit easier once everything's already in there. Or you can decide that for certain sizes of shipments, like for a few small boxes, you don't mind moving it, but maybe for like a really big load in a C2 where there's like a lot of things going on, you'd rather just kind of, use the automatic loading service. Now, what we went out with before wasn't really our intended behavior because what was missing.
I read the patch and I did not see changes to the payments in the patch notes. If you could point them to me, that would be awesome because I looked and I never saw that. The payment there was $30K to do it automatically. Oh shit. Okay, cool. I played the patch, but
was some granularity in the loading time determination
I didn't see that in the
based
notes.
on the box size. It was always the plan. We just weren't able to get to it.
I would have totally
yet.
tested that.
So I know that there was some feedback that some of the loading times seemed to not make sense. This is the reason. The reason is that we didn't have the granularity in the system to scale the loading times based on the box size. And what that really means is that for smaller boxes per SEU, you're going to spend more time on smaller boxes. So if you have, let's say, a ship and you fill it up with 600 SEU, if those are like 1 SEU boxes, that's going to take a long time because that's a lot of boxes to move. But if we're talking 32 SEU boxes, that's a much more efficient moving pattern that has to be done by the loading services. So that's going to be quicker to load. And that'll help us tune the system to make sure that we're not overly punishing people with these incredible loading times. But we still want it to, be a reasonable amount of time for the higher loads for us to be able to tune the economy in a reasonable way. And also to make sure that manual loading is something that there is an incentive to do.
Of course, with these new kiosks and new ways to access your inventory, for those of you who have been building your possessions year after year, one question was destined to rise above all others.
Search is another one of these things that we always wanted to do. Now that we've been longer in development, trying to close out and finish off some of the bigger bugs, which has mainly been Hangar instancing related. We've also taken the opportunity to work on the quality of life improvement that we wanted to get in particular, which is search functionality in the freight elevator kiosk and the item bank. Now, this is going to be the first step. Where we're starting is it's going to be a name-based search on the items, but it won't, for example, search on description names or like color, things like that. And it will be a fuzzy search, which means that you will be able to search for substrings of names. So you can, for example, have helmet, and that'll actually pick up a lot of different items which actually have the word helmet in the name. Or you can look up helm and still get most of those same or all the same results, but maybe a few other things, which also include that.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about it. This is something that I remember talking about implementing search forever ago when we first originally introduced the inventory and then also the player asset manager knickknacks. It's something that we needed backend support for to do properly in order for it to not overburden the backend. But we actually got support from the backend team, which did a great job getting this in for us.
Poggers.
So I think this will be a really good feature for the players, and hopefully that makes them feel a little bit better about waiting a little bit longer on the patch.
All in all, the upcoming changes to cargo and the combination of physicalized inventory with personal persistent hangars means the upcoming Alpha 324 is the next major step forward towards players owning a place in the verse and configuring it however they'd like.
Nice, Mike. Now, when? I mean, I think
what else did we learn this week? The armistice zones are being removed.
I don't think they can wait much longer, so they're just going to push it, and it's going to be in a pretty horrible state, would be my guess. I don't think it's ready, but I think that's what they do. They just go forever. It's never good enough, and then they just push it out, and it's shit. You're basically playing Evo for weeks, and then, yeah, that'll be fine. And that's not even to, like, be overly negative or anything. It's just kind of how it's been over the last, like, year or so, is stuff's pretty complicated. These hangar things have been insanely complicated on their end, and it's just, at some point, they just go to wave one, you know?
Move from player hangars, which will finally let you load up those gun racks on your ships. That the law system will let you stand your ground when someone invariably tries to sneak in and steal all of your stuff. And that storage access kiosks are for long-term storage. And that decorating your hangar,
they're not big enough,
with all of your items is the next step in eventually letting you grab your kit and go without the need for those inventory screens at all. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
I don't know why that felt a lot shorter than 13 minutes, but yeah. Explained a few things that you guys might not have known through the process of Evo and how it's grown a little bit. But a lot of the things that they showed do not work currently in Evo. So there's a few freight elevator screens that they didn't show you because it might have been broken or something like that. But the Yeah, the big one that I'm a little confused by is the like commodity trading and these elevators. It does add an extra step and make it a little bit more complicated, but I don't think it's as dire as some of you guys are making it seem. One thing that we don't have yet is the ability to sell from the hangar. You still have to go to the TDD and everything like that. I hope one day we just open our MobiGlass and we got a marketplace that we're dealing with through the MobiGlass. I think that makes a way, way, way more sense personally. But maybe it's a limited marketplace of some kind. I don't know. It's weird. I go back and forth. I like the idea of a dedicated marketplace that people hang out at, a social gathering type place. But yeah, please help me understand why they let us shoot each other in the hangars, but at an outpost where you can buy gold and manually load it into a ship, there's an armistice zone. It's going to be Cheese City. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's feedback city. You just keep giving them feedback, and hopefully they can address those issues more and more and more and more. Right? I don't know why they make the choices they do, but yeah, I do hope that like a marketplace at Levski, I don't know, that's different. I mean a player marketplace where we trade between each other, but we can also trade with NPCs. I'm not sure what I want, but I know what exists now is incredibly tedious, right? Land my ship, get down from my ship, elevator, this vehicle, that vehicle, then we get to the TDD, then we go to the terminal, and then we press a bunch of buttons, and then we got to run back and do it all over again. Is that what I want? I don't know. Something in between that, maybe? I'm not really sure. But I think that's the thing that people were most upset about from the video. Everything else you've already kind of seen already, besides the stand your ground stuff. So yeah, it was a bit of a filler episode this week because things have taken so long, and they don't have much to show on 4.0 because people are still working on 3.24 would be my guess. I don't really know, but in general, I just want to get this in our hands. I just want to run cargo missions. I just want to run commodities to fill the rest of the cargo that is not filling my ship for cargo missions, and just do some pretty chill gameplay. I don't know. I'm not looking for anything too crazy, So we'll see, but I gotta say this has been a very, I would say, sad time. You had a lot of build up from CitizenCon. Hey, we're going to be doing things different, and it's just another year of the same, so far. So hopefully after this it improves, but given how the first half of the year has gone on, yeah, I think everyone just kind of wants to move towards 4.0, the actual major milestone, and until we get out of this, we can't go to that. So it's just kind of like, yeah, let's go. I don't know, but you guys let me know what you think, because at this point, I'm tired of thinking. I just want to play.